Hello, my name is Brian Raid, and I'm the owner of the East Coast Naturopathic Clinic in Bedford, Nova Scotia. I wanted to share some thoughts about the current situation affecting small businesses in Nova Scotia and in across Canada, and really probably in most parts of the world right now. And what I wanted to specifically talk about is the current supports that are being offered by the Canadian government for small businesses, and also talk about some possible steps that we as members of the public can take to support small businesses at this time. The current supports being offered by the Canadian government are, to my understanding, basically three main areas. One is that they're offering a wage subsidy program. Another is that they are offering a loan program up to $40,000 a year, I believe, that can be applied for. And then the third option is that businesses can apply for or request a rent deferral from their landlord. And the reason I'm mentioning this is because not everyone out there is a small business owner. Many of us are, but not everybody is. And you might not be aware of the options that are available for small businesses. I know in the media I've been hearing sound bites around saying the Canadian government is making provisions to help support small businesses because, of course, the government really cares a lot about small businesses because we make up a huge part of the backbone of the economy. And I think it's important for folks to be aware of what provisions are being offered, because the long and short of it is that those various provisions are very, very useful for businesses that are of a certain size or businesses that have had the opportunity to accrue some savings over the course of time. And so to help those businesses get through this challenging situation, this pandemic that we are all dealing with, bearing in mind that this video, I'm creating it on April 9th. So the situation such as it is right now, those provisions are very helpful for some businesses. The unfortunate reality of it is that those provisions are not useful in any way, shape, or form to a bunch of small businesses out there. I don't know the percentage, but there are certainly many examples, stories on social media and hearing about things in other forms of media where there are businesses that unfortunately are permanently closing their doors, and it seems to be happening with, in my opinion, an alarming frequency, once again, because small businesses are so important, not just for our economy, but of course it's affecting people on an individual level. Small businesses create such a beautiful constellation of different services and amenities, and it's like a mosaic of different businesses out there, and small businesses are really what drive a lot of that. It adds a lot of nuance and unique aspects and things like that. So important for many reasons. A really good case in point of the provisions being made by the government for small businesses and not being applicable to businesses, small businesses across the board, is the story of a business in Truro, Nova Scotia. There's this fantastic kids/baby store on the main drag there in Truro, or one of the main streets in Truro. It's called Enchanted Forest. And if you go to the Facebook page of Andrea Monroe, who's the owner of Enchanted Forest, recently she posted a letter to Stephen McNeil, the Premier of Nova Scotia, outlining how the provisions, she says a lot of things in the letter, and it's a very well-written piece, and she mentions how the supports that are being put forward or offered by the government are unfortunately just not applicable for her business. And the long story short is that her business is, by all accounts, a success story. She has multiple employees. She's been in business for 11 years. And it just unfortunately is not, those supports are falling short of actually being of use to her. So I would recommend reading her letter. It's very well written, very eloquent, and it's available on her Facebook page. I also reposted it on my Facebook page, so you can see it on there if you're so inclined. So I wanted to mention that so that folks out there know that small businesses are, many of them are struggling. Many of them, it seems, are shutting down. And even though there are some very useful supports being put in place that affect some small businesses, they're not universally applicable. So my hope is that the government has plans to make generate additional supports options for small businesses that aren't currently able to be benefited by the ones that are in place. Something like a covering rent expenses, for example, for small businesses would probably be one of the best things that could be done, but that's just my opinion. I know naturopathic medicine really well. I don't know economics really well, but that would make a lot of logical sense to me, so that folks who are running a small business, if their ongoing business expenses, which would largely be rent if their doors are closed, and then they can also apply for the various options that are available for folks who have a reduction or loss of income right now. That seems to me it would probably help a lot, but I'm not sure if that's something that's in the works with the government or not, but that to my mind would make a lot of sense and probably help a lot in those situations. The other thing I was wanting to talk about in this video are some thoughts and suggestions for how we can help small businesses. Right now, if you have the funds available, the disposable income or the buffer room with your income or savings, trying to support small businesses as much as you can right now, I think is certainly a logical way of helping them. There are so many businesses that have really rolled with these punches that we've been experiencing over the last month or so with things progressively shutting down, and looking to see if businesses that you care about, that you utilize right now, are still in business to some extent. There are a number of businesses out there that have switched to an online platform or a delivery system or whatnot for the various products or services that they provide. My understanding is that certain gyms or yoga studios or other types of fitness related companies have moved, are now offering online classes and things like that. And so looking at accessing those would be an option. Looking at even farmers markets, they have food drop-off programs set up right now. One of our favorite small farms out there, friends of ours, a farm called Snowy River Farms, they have they've switched over to doing a door-to-door delivery system, and they have a website, and that can all be accessed on there. There are a lot of different things out there. I know that even, to my understanding, even say other healthcare professionals, like say physiotherapists, some of them are offering online services for their patients or clients. So if there are companies that you care about and you'd like to see them still be in business at the end of this pandemic, economic shutdown, whatever you want to call it, then I would highly recommend reaching out and checking out online, or reaching out to them and seeing, are you still offering services? And if so, are you able to support them at this time? If you don't currently have the financial wherewithal or buffering room to support those businesses directly with your dollars and cents, then you could still support those businesses by sharing their posts on social media, helping to get the word out about their services, talking about their services when you're chatting with friends and family on the phone or over some kind of electronic device platform or whatnot. So trying to help them with their marketing efforts in that way. Or you could, if you were so inclined, reach out to those businesses and say, is there any way that I can be helping in some way, shape, or form? And they might have some thoughts or ideas about that. Or at the very least, getting that message from them, getting that message to them, I'm sure would really help with their morale. I'm sure it would be very reassuring to know that their customers or clients or whatnot are thinking about them, wanting them to survive this. So it's something to really think about, because once again, small businesses are so very important. There was a meme or something like that on social media that I saw on some platform not too long ago, and it was saying something to the effect of, whatever you put your dollars into right now during this pandemic, those are the companies or the services that are going to still be around at the end of the pandemic, and whatever you're not supporting has a greater chance of falling to the wayside. So if you're getting all of your supplies or things that you're ordering from large corporations, then they're going to weather the storm, and quite frankly, they're going to weather the storm anyways. But if you're not supporting those smaller businesses, then they might not weather the storm. And once again, not everybody has the flexibility to purchase things from small businesses. In many cases, it's not more expensive to do that, but in some cases it is, and in some cases, out of necessity, you don't have the flexibility to support who you'd like to be supporting with your business. But if you do, please consider doing that. And if you don't, then please consider trying to support those businesses in other ways. So thank you for listening.